the final part of our training session, and that is on investor readiness. So that's what we're going to look at today. I hope you're able to see my screen. Hold control. I don't know why I'm having. Are you able to see my screen? Okay,
yes.
let me stop. Okay, let me stop.
We can see investment readiness.
Okay, yeah.
It's clear.
Okay, I'm not able to see from my side, so let me try to get back. Okay. Yeah, so when you talk about investor readiness, of course, I don't know what comes into your mind. Maybe we start the conversation at that particular point, because I'm sure this is a term that is not very new to most of you. You must have really thought about it, or must have maybe had session or discussion around it. So I'll start by maybe asking you to share with us exactly what do you understand by the term investor readiness, especially when it comes to a startup. Yeah, so who can go first? Let's just try to be a bit faster. Hi, John. I hope this one you can be able to, you are now in a position to talk. Yeah, so Christine, can you start us off?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, okay. The question was about what do you understand by the term investor readiness?
I think it's to put strategies in place to give you an advantage. I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah.
But just to get yourself ready for teaching or sharing your business or impact with an investor.
Okay. Yeah, so it's an issue of being prepared, maybe to pitch your business to an investor. Is that right? Of course, that they can be able to find interest and then be able to invest into your business. Yeah, I think that is okay. It's correct. Yeah. Anybody else want to contribute about that on that? Yeah. So I think it's a very, very common term that I'm sure all of us, in one or another, whether we have come across it by design or intentionally, but you find that being an entrepreneur, it's something that usually runs into your mind because, of course, all of us, in one or another, we are always thinking of how do we grow our business. Okay. Of course, for us to grow the business, remember the other day we're talking about cash flows, and so that cash is the king Kong, not just the king, but the King Kong. You must have the cash so that you can be able to develop your idea. You must have the cash to develop your product. You must have the cash to sell your product. You must have the cash to manage your business. So you find that actually cash is everything here. So you find that without money or without the capital, then you find that as much as you could be having very good ideas and good business strategies, you find that you cannot really operationalize your business without cash. So, of course, therefore, when you talk about investor readiness, it simply relates to ways of building your capacity so that you can be able to ensure that you keep your business afloat by simply attracting capital from friends, from people who can really feel that they need to invest into your business. So that means that, of course, you really have to ensure that you really position your business in such a way that it really appeals to people with resources, okay, to really feel that it's actually worthy for them to put their resources into your business. So, of course, this is very, very important because it helps you to in the development of the products. It also helps you to market your products. Of course, if you want to expand your capacity of producing your products and also to access new markets, all these things require money. And you find that for this, for anybody to feel that they need to invest into your business, because there are two things that they will always look at. So one is they look at business viability, and then of course how the business is structured. Of course, if people can, if an investor can be able to see that you really have a good vision, of course, and you really well organized the way you're carrying out your business, then of course they get attracted to, or they get attracted as well as find a good reason as to why they can invest into your business. So when you talk about business viability, is that the investor needs to see that, of course, your business is well thought through a sound business model. Of course, it has got a large market share through maybe your value proposition, the way you're really presenting your product into the market. Of course, it has a ripple effect by simply trying to maybe change. Could be innovative way, in an innovative way of maybe doing things that can really bring a ripple effect in the market, so that you can have many clients really turning out into your business. At the same time, also they will also want to see that the business is also backed by a qualified team. I think, yeah, business also shared just about that. So we find that all these factors are very, very important when it comes to really positioning yourself to become investable. So of course, to do that, of course, we have certain documents that you need to have to show that your business is actually viable. Like we have been talking about business plans. We also talked about the financial model. That's what we're discussing today with Bless. And then, of course, yesterday we were looking at one of the key strategy that a startup can use to get into the market. That is to build a brand and visibility. Because again, investors would want to invest in an institution that has got a good reputation. So, of course, brand is almost everything to them. So those are just some of the things that you can really apply. So today we're going to see basically how do you become investor ready. And of course, there's a reason why you'll be wanting to become investor ready. Of course, the main reason is to raise capital, okay, so that you can be able to meet some of the operational needs for your organization. So in that case, therefore, it's important that first of all, you start by identifying the need for the capital. You don't just wake up one day and start raising the capital. So you find that, first of all, there must be a need. There must be a reason as to why you want to raise the capital. Then number two, of course, logically, that you must ensure that, of course, you prepare your documentations and everything so that you become, you know exactly, you comply with the requirements for investors, what they need, okay? And then, of course, you can determine how you want to operate as an organization, whether you want to operate as a limited company or a sole proprietor, because all those arrangements, of course, they have got a way in which they allow people to raise up capital and to start operating. So you need to think about that, and then of course try to think about who are the potential investors that you can approach, and then think about due diligence and try to do that further, and then try to look at how you can be able to get them, and then of course finally you can execute your growth plan. So Today, we are mainly going to look at all those 9 stages that any business will actually engage itself to ensure that it raises the funds that it requires. So when it comes to investor readiness, you find that the first thing that any organization needs to do is that, first of all, you need to do what you call investment readiness self-assessment. So in that case, it's more of a personal, internal activity. So, of course, at this point here, you find that as an organization, you need to maybe try to think about what do you need for funding for. So the first thing that you need to should be in your mind is why do you need fund? Don't just go for capital if you don't need the capital. You should have a clear plan, basically why you want the money. And that's why it's important to have a business plan. So a business plan will actually help you to show you how your business is going to work. And you can be able to see the areas that you've got funding gaps that you really need money for. So it's important that to have a business plan from the initial day. So then, of course, you can also start thinking about which type of funding are you looking for. Of course, you need to be very strategic. Are you going to go for debt? Are you going to go for grants? Okay. So depending on the risks involved, of course, you can always know which one is the best for your business. And then, of course, from your funders, of course, you need to think about what is it that they're looking for, what do they want, and of course, try to ensure that what kind of preparations do you require so that you can be able to meet their requirements. So it's important that you do that in turn, that self-assessment, even before you embark on this journey. And basically today, we are going to see how you can be able to do that. And then we shall be looking at options that are available that you can simply pursue it. And then, of course, give you some bit of pitching recommendations, and then how you can be able to expand your business. So basically, that will be the structure for today's session. So I hope that will capture most of the questions that could be going through, that you could be going through, especially this time that you're trying to think of how you can be able to grow the businesses. So just as I've said, you find that the first step for you to get to become investor ready, that you need first of all to know your capital needs. Okay, you need to know your capital needs. Why do you need the money for? Okay, that one should be the guiding or the starting point for you being investor ready. So of course, we know, we've just said that a business is about money, cash flows. Okay, you're having money in, and then you've got money out, money in, money out. And of course, the process of having that spiral movement of cash, of course, you're supposed to grow, okay, as the money transacts in and out. So that's basically the essence of a business. But you find that for it to start that process, you must have some initial capital. And the initial capital, that's where the challenge is. So you find that as a business, of course, you can start maybe by trying to analyze yourself. Because we wanted to do a discussion, maybe just to give us maybe a starting point about the needs for the money. So maybe I'll start by presenting that question to you so that we can see whether you guys are investor ready or not. So I'll ask each one of you to highlight their financial needs. Okay, because that's one of the requirements for being investor ready. So we can start with Bernice. Hi, Bernice.
Yes, Charles, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, eh?
Yeah, Santi.
Yes.
Yeah, so please, can you share with us your capital needs? for your business? If you have ever thought about it.
Yeah. Basically, I will need capital for assets. That is for buying trucks for transportation.
Mhm.
I will need money for fuel
Mhm.
and paying salaries.
Mhm.
That is for the cabbage collection business.
Okay.
I will also
Yeah, so you
need
need.
money for operations like the office space, like internet and utility bills,
Mhm.
and other things like protective gears, uniforms, branding for our business.
So in nutshell, how much money do you need? And how much money do you already have?
Is it monthly or
Yeah,
a
you just
yearly?
need. No, even just now, operationally, maybe right now at this stage where you are right now.
Like today?
Yeah.
Oh, my daily operations can get up to 15,000.
Mhm.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's, let's say, an average of 15,000
Okay, per day. So,
per day.
so
Yeah, whenever I am operating.
in a year, you need how much?
I will need around, let's say in a month, I'll need 200 for that particular business. There only one business, there one stream of business.
Yes.
So maybe around 2 million.
2 million.
Yes.
Okay. So that means
For
your operation cost right now is around 2 million per year.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And according to your growth plan, is that sufficient enough? Does that really match where you really want to be? Maybe at the end of this year.
Not really. We are still underfunded. We're still struggling
Yeah.
financially
Okay.
because we have not even managed to get all maybe the licenses. I've not managed to pay my staff well the way I wanted to incentivize them. We are getting profits for now. So we are still very.
So how much do you need for you to do that goal that you really wanted to do?
If I get to like maybe 10 million in a year, then I'll say that we are making profits.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I think that's how you need to look at your business. So you need to really analyze your business and see exactly where are you now, okay? What are you doing? And maybe based on your plans, you can be able to identify the gaps. Is that right? So that's where you need to be. So like for your case, of course, you need like 10 million to do whatever you wanted to do for this year. But right now you have got like only 2 million that is circulating in the business. So what does that mean? It means that there's a gap that you really need to fill. Is that right?
Yes.
So which is around, you need an extra capital of around 8 million so that you can be able to start operating optimally. Yeah, I think so. That's one of the things that can really cause you to start now thinking about investors, because you can see that there's a need. Because that of course, as much as you are operating, your current operation is 2 million, but you feel you would be doing better if you would have got 10 million. So I think now your need is 8 million. Okay, yeah. So anybody else who want to share with us his or her need, capital need? Yes, Betty. Hi, Betty.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for choosing me, but let me not comment at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm together with you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but you can just maybe just highlight on some of the key challenges that you're having for your business currently. without necessarily mentioning the financials part of it. Okay, yeah. So then, okay, she's asked for to be excused for now. Hi, Penina, please. Hi, Penina. I know that she's online. Yeah, Geoffrey. Hi, Geoffrey. Okay.
Hi.
Yes.
Hello?
Hi, Geoffrey. Yeah. Hello. Yes. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah. So please, can you share with us your capital need for your business?
For my capital needs, I'll be, let me try to highlight. I need fuel for transport. Hello?
Yes. Hello. Yes.
Then salary, rent, that money for emergency,
Mhm.
like for carrying machines, also money for materials,
Okay.
for another, I can say that money from like let's say for that's for I don't know. Huh? I'll say salary.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Only that.
Okay. Yeah. So and so far, how much money do you have?
That one it will run. It will range like around 200.
200,000.
Yeah, around
And then how much do you need?
yeah.
How much do you need to work optimally?
Like for the all,
Yeah. How much money do you need?
like around 200,000 there for you to
200,000.
complete to pay those rents, dyeing material for emergency for making machine.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's okay.
Can I, sorry, by the time
Yes.
you're talking to me that I was facing some challenges on the gadget.
Okay.
Now,
Yes. Okay.
mine is a funny one. I call it a funny one because those, those business people who are operating on comfort zone, which I think was meant, maybe it was not a business. It's until I came here that the head is opening. You know that one of you've done all your licenses, you've done, and then you see like this one, you don't need capital. The only capital you need are already things you have, like all the gadgets, all the machines, all the paperwork. So I think I should get out of that comfort zone because like when you're in most of the service industry, you kind of don't project too much. You don't, because as long as you get and there's something in what you think is okay in the account, then you get into such a state that you can't attract investments or investors. Why? Because I've not been focused onto that line. But I think from after this, I now need to get onto the focus because things like the books, I've been operating in such a way that when I need to have the workbook is when I print. But I think I should have enough workbooks and more employees such that we can more team building items, because I think I'm able to build 2 teams at the same time. But if I could spread to about 3 or 4, where I could get a set of 5 or 6 workers who can work at the same time, then I'll call myself I'm in business. I've been calling myself that I'm in business, but I only have 2 teams, 2 sets. I think I have the capacity to do more. It's until I'm listening to people saying, oh, I want to get 10 million. I'm like, what would I do with 10 million? You see, that means it's not been a business.
Sure. Yeah,
you
good.
get it. And I'm sure there are more entrepreneurs who are in the same wavelength. How I wish that this is going to change. I've realized that I've been doing too little. than what I should be doing. I've not been looking at it like a business. That is an eye opener. Thank you, Charles.
Oh, thank you, Penina. Thank you. Welcome. Yeah. So thank you for that insights, Penina. Of course, it also helped all of us to rethink about why are we really doing business. Maybe we ask ourselves the questions that why are we in business? Are we just in business just to do maybe a CRS? Are we just in business to maybe just to as a way of just putting our money there so that it doesn't really it's just there so that it's safe? Or is it, are we doing a business, of course, with the intention of having an impact within our community or society as well as ourselves? So I think those questions are very, very important because it's at that point when you sit down and then ask yourself, why is it that I'm doing business? That will really help you to start thinking about what you need to do. Okay. Of course, have a clear roadmap of where you want to be, maybe 5 years from now or 3 years from now. I think that's very, very important. I think Penina has really brought it very well. Of course, it's very bad for you to get into business without having a specific vision or a goal with you. So it's important that at least we sit down, put down a vision on a piece of paper through a business plan, and then we can start visualizing basically what you want to do and where you want to be. And of course, this now helps us to actually to know exactly what are the gaps that we have in our businesses, and then we can start also thinking about how we can be able to fill those gaps, maybe by simply attracting investors. So we find that this is a common encounter for any entrepreneur, because at any given time, you'll find that there's a new idea that you really want to pick up, that you really want to promote. And of course, at this particular point, you'll find that what normally comes in, the first thing that you'll feel or that you'll experience is that lack of funds. Because one is that we know that funds are usually budgeted for, they're allocated for. Of course, you could be having the money, but maybe that money has already been allocated for something else. But that any time that you introduce a new concept, you find that it must be funded. So you have to find a way of getting money for it. So you need funds, of course, for production. We need funds for marketing. We need funds for establishing the space or the businesses, of course, the team and all that. So all those things require money. So it's important that, of course, we sit down and then start analyzing our business operations. Of course, try to look at our records and see, of course, our status. We talked about the cash flow statements, know our health as business, well, how the business is going. And of course, at some point, we can also examine our performance of the business. So, of course, we can get a status of affair from, for example, the balance sheets, and then we can always assess our performance through profits and loss accounts to see whether we're making any profit or not. Of course, all those can help us to know what do we need to do maybe in the next financial period. For example, if you realize that you're making some losses, then of course, yeah, Vanessa, will go to your message. Then, of course, you can think about ways of raising money so that you can be able to maybe try to fill in the gaps, okay, that caused you to encounter losses for your business. So we talk about capital expenditure. So of course, capital expenditures normally goes towards, for example, revamping your business. It can go into, for example, buying new equipment that you need so that you can be able to, of course, improve the performance of your business. It could be an asset that you really want to acquire, something that you feel that once you acquire for it, then it can be able to help you to boost your business. And then, of course, it can also go into operational expenditure or OPEX. So those are expenses that you incur day to day to ensure that your business runs. Of course, things like salary. Of course, at times you can start a business, but somewhere on the way, you're not able to pay salaries for your workers. And this can really affect the performance of your business, just as Vanessa has told us. So it's important that we really ensure that we have enough cash so that you can be able to sustain the operations of our business. But remember, you need cash to fuel the trucks, the garbage collection trucks. Without fuel, that means you cannot transact your business. So you need to think about, how do I maybe meet this gap? So as an entrepreneur, therefore you can always make use of these three statements that, of course, we learned the other day on Wednesday. We have got the balance sheet that simply gives you the status affairs of your business. You can always know how much assets do you have, how much liabilities do you have. Of course, look at your financial position, maybe at the end of the month or at the end of the year, so that you can be able to know exactly what is your status. And then, of course, we've got the income statements or the profit and loss statement. So if this one tells you how your business is performing, whether you are really on the right track or not. And then the cash flows just helps you to check the health of the business, the cash flows, whether you're able to, how the cash flow is moving from, maybe it can be weekly, it can be monthly or quarterly. So it's important that you keep on taking those examinations. So it's important that at the end of each and every moment, as apart from just being an innovator or entrepreneur, you should be able to at least be able to analyze some of these financial statements, so that you can be able to interpret what it means for your business. Okay, because now we are trying to move out from the house, the market where the business is taking place. So as a startup or as a founder, it's important that you start thinking about that, and then you also start thinking about ways of getting money. Okay, how do you get money so that you can be able to achieve whatever you want to do? So this is a very, very important aspect of business management that you really need to develop as an entrepreneur. So of course, you don't need to have that detail, expertise skills in the accounting, but you should be able to actually to conceptualize that and then be able to see exactly what's happening in the business, so that you can be able to troubleshoot as well as be able to manage your business. So of course, as you also try to look at your financial issues, you also need to think about growth. You want to grow, because that should be your point number one. So of course, for you to grow so that you can go to meet your strategic goals, you need that capital to be able to achieve that. Because when it comes to operations, there are issues to do with ensuring that you have got enough cash. And in most cases, you will always depend on credit as a way of ensuring that you have enough cash. And in that case, maybe you can ensure that you can use some credit facilities, maybe with financial institutions, maybe the banking. Of course, they can always, maybe you can have an arrangement with them so that they can be able to be assisting you to carry out some payments on time. But of course, all that you also need to know how to manage that way of operation, because this was usually acts as a quick fix for the financial need that you might require. Then the other thing is about the funding sources. You need to think about different ways which you can raise funds, and then of course be able to come up with a risk management. Of course, each and every source of funding has got risks associated to it, so you need to know how to mitigate against each and every risk. So of course, there are different ways of raising money. So it's important that you as a founder, that you actually have at least an idea of how each works, so that you can be able to know the advantages and disadvantages of each, even as you make decisions. Like, of course, you go to commercial funding, whereby you want somebody to, for example, to fund you the project, as also maybe buy in some bit of risk, some of the shares. That could also be one way. You can also go the debt way, whereby you simply go to the banking or financial institutions, you take a loan and then you pay back. Again, it has got its own limitation. You've got equity for minority shares and equity for majority shares. So those are some of the areas which some of the strategies that you can actually use to raise fund for your business. So the most important thing is that you need to know exactly what do you want to use this fund for. Are you really in need of these funds? Okay. Or does it mean that there's an alternative way of that you can simply use to get the funding that you're trying to pursue? Because if it's not really necessary for you to get a loan, please don't go for a loan. Okay. Just focus on what your business is doing. I think Lecturer told us that she has been able to start her business without having any loan to the stage where she is even today. And she feels that it's not necessary for her to take further loan because she has seen that she is able to at least to produce her products and then be able to supply to the market. But you find that at some point when she will really want to scale her business, because it will require her to start looking for maybe other equity or maybe equity investors, or still look for as facilities like bank loans so that you can be able to set up the or can be able to scale up her business. So we talk about raising capital. We normally encounter quite a number of challenges because one of the challenges about the business itself, the business constraints. Of course, if you don't apply best practices in managing your business, that can really affect your intentions of raising capital. Because of course, if for example you don't have a good history about how your business is performing, you don't have information, you don't know how to present your business, then that can be able to really affect your investor readiness. And then, of course, the other challenge that you will always encounter is about now the investors. You find that they're the ones who cause the short. Of course, each investor will come with their own ways of maybe ways of identifying their priority areas of investment. And in most cases, you find that they're the ones who decide. So you as a startup, you will always be required to align yourself, to align for example, your concept, your project, your business to what the investor requires, so that you can be able to align your pitch to what they need. Of course, you can hear some of them. There are some investors who are mainly interested in maybe in sector specifics products or solutions. So you find that in that case, you will simply need to look at which one looks like it's aligned to the area that you're operating, and that's when the only time that you can be able to start maybe approaching those investors. So once you have been able to identify the need, then the other thing that you need to do is that now you need to start preparing your organization, of course, to meet some of the requirements of the investors. So, and we have actually discussed that. That is a business plan, which is mainly an internal document that describes the business and its objectives and its strategy to achieve those objectives. We also talked about the financial model, which it's also a very, very important thing that you can simply use to present to the investor. And of course, it simply shows the growth plan, the forecast potential returns, as well as understand the risks and sensitivities of different aspects of the business. And then, of course, maybe one-way pitch to the investors, of course, trying to show their business opportunities within your business that can really maybe can be able to capture their attention about your business. So, of course, that's also it's very, very important whenever you are trying to reach out to any investor. Of course, the investors also be interested to know exactly how your capital structure of your organization is. Of course, that is if it's self-financed or internal financing, or you're trying to get debt. How you see the way you raise your capital, it's also very important to them, because they want to see exactly whether it aligns to what they are doing or not. It's not aligned, so that they can see how they can come in. So it's important that you try to look around and then see what do the investors want, what is it that you are doing, align your organization structure, of course, to the specifics of the investors that requirements that actually they normally give you the TORs, so that you can be able to align with that. So today we are going to see how you can be able to do that. Of course, all that is an issue of tactics. Of course, that you as a startup you need to know how to use it. So of course, we see that for you to operate as a business person or as an entrepreneur, you find that you have to be smart. Of course, you can start business without even a shilling in your pocket. Okay, so you can become wealthy without a shilling from your pocket. Of course, by simply using other people's time and using other people's money. So of course, that's how you can make value for in the entrepreneurial endeavor. So if you can be able to capture that quickly, then of course you can be able to really have an impactful business venture. Of course, we know that most people normally fear taking loans, they fear taking debts, but as an entrepreneur, you find that that's an option. So we must always be open to partnerships, open to, of course, strategic alliances that can help us to raise funding. So the question is, how are we investor ready? So that's usually the most important thing that one needs to undertake as you start this journey of trying to secure funding. So you find that once you have identified a need for capital, then the second question that will come to your mind is whether you are ready for investment or not. So in this case, of course, for a quick snapshot, you can look at whether you have the right team, because that's what the investors will be interested with it. Of course, a problem and a vision. What problem are you trying to address? What is the vision for your company? What values are you trying to present to the market? Do you have products with you? Do you have a market for the products that you have? What's the business model? How do you plan to scale, and how do you plan to exit? So you find that any investor, okay, will be interested in those 8 points of your business. And so it's important that you develop the right skills so that you can be able to articulate well whenever you are trying to do a pitching. So the pitch will always try to explain those 8 points that you have mentioned there. As therefore, to ensure that we comply with the pitching, we need to therefore ensure that we have all the requirements for that, all the requirements that the investor will always be interested in. So in that case, we talk about business plan or marketing plan. So that's the structure of a business plan. So the business plan should be able to capture all that information at glance, so that you can be able to present it to investor. So so when you are doing, therefore, you are pitching, or you are trying to interact with the investor, because there are some things that they'll be looking for. Okay, so it's important that when you're planning to do your pitch, therefore, you first do some self-due diligence or self-assessment, so that you don't wait for them to come and do it for you. So it's important that you understand exactly what is it that they normally look for. Okay. Yeah. Though we have got different types of investor, but you just need to think about what is it they're looking for, and then ensure that you actually have all the requirements. So of course, they normally look at the general information about your company or your organization. They want to look at about information about leadership, whether you have got a leadership that is able to deliver or not. Then they look about the product readiness. Remember, we talked about product solution fit, market fit, market readiness. They also look at the financials and all that. So those are the key things that they look at. So of course, for them to be able to get that information, because they require some documents, like for example, the record keeping, book record keeping. They don't need it there and then, but of course, if you have this, if you ensure that you have got a good financial model, because with the good record keeping, then this one can really help you to answer some of the questions that investors will be looking at for your business. So, of course, you need to check back into your business and see, do you really keep records? Do you really have all the legal requirements? Do you, of course, pay taxes and all that? So all these things need to be factored in. So you need to first of all to sit back and then check from your side. Ensure that you have got PIN, you have got tax compliance certificates, you've got everything that you need. Okay, just there on the table, so that in case you are asked for these documents, then you can be able to present it. Of course, one way of doing it, remember, is to say that you can start by hiring an accountant to help you to maintain the financial records so that you can be able to present to the investors. So, of course, once you do that, then you can now start maybe doing an outreach to see what kind of investors you will want to approach. So you can start an outreach effort about that. So it's important that you, as even as you go out, you first of all understand the available options that are there, okay, that are there for funding or investment. So of course, there are quite a number of options that are there. So one of them is usually the government itself. Okay, government usually has got so many programs. Remember last time when we were doing the launch, of course, we were given some leads on different projects that government is running that can actually help us to raise fund. So for, of course, being a government, of course, it's surely not a risky way. They can give you maybe a grant, which can be you can repay with time. So actually cushions you with a lot of from a lot of issues that deals with the market. But these programs, you find that they are not readily available. They have to just to be a project. It has its own way of carrying out its operation. And at times, the way the government works may not really be suitable for your business. But actually, it's one of the best source of funding for any startup because it's a government money, so you can always just go for it. Then the other source of funding that you can try is crowdfunding platforms such as Mchanga, whereby they do help small businesses to raise funds by allowing them to pitch their business ideas to a large audience and ask for donations. So we have got a large audience that they come up with one platform, and then you go there, you make your pitch. Then you can get people, you can get donors who can really just buy into your idea or business idea, and they can be able to give you some grants or some form of donations to your business. So in that case, you can have several people supporting your business at a go. Then we have got grants. Of course, grants, they usually, of course, announced by various organizations with specific, maybe with specific targets or areas of support. So you find that this normally requires you to get into the contest, either through an innovation challenge or through an application, present a proposal to the grantors so that they can be able to evaluate your proposal and then be able to see if they can be able to grant you some money. This approach again is actually not it's not risky to you as a startup, but the issue is that of course you must be able to pass through the vetting as well as the selection criteria that is set there so that you can be able to be awarded the grant. So that's the only trick that's there. So it's not straightforward, but it's one of the best way for raising capital. Then the other area is through debts or bank loans. We find that debts or bank loans, we find that this is the easiest way of accessing a grant. Though, again, the challenge here is that, of course, each bank have got their own ways of assessing your credit worthy. That normally determines how much money they can be able to offer you. So you find that the banks, again, you find that they normally try to analyze the risks, lending risks, so that they can use it to decide how much money they can be able to give you. So they look like things like character. So they look at credit history, of for you as the vision bearer of the company. Of course, they will want to check that, or the credit history for the company, which they take in and helps them to analyze to see how the cash flow has been. Of course, the cash flows, then they look about how much capital has been invested. They look at the structure and all that. So they have got a way of scoring you, or scoring each and every application for a bank loan. And then, of course, based on that scoring procedure, they can be able to determine how much money they can be able to give it to you. Then we have, of course, debts. We also have microfinance institutions that also provide small financial support to MSME. So again, those are some of the organizations that you can also approach to raise funds for your business. So then we have got revenue sharing, then convertible equity debt, and then equity, of course. Those are also available ways of raising money. But of course, we'll be able to look each and every method depending on the need that's available. But now, when it comes to banking, of course, this approach is whereby you find that it's readily available because somehow we all have bank accounts. Of course, you find that all our transactions are actually carried out through the banks. And for most of us, we find that we also do our payments through the bank accounts. So you find that banks are very, very important when it comes to supporting the growth of our business. However, the most important thing that you must be able to know exactly how you manage your bank accounts. Of course, think about try to reduce the costs of bank because they help you to do a business, but of course they have got their own charges. They also make money from the service that they offer to you. So it's important that you come up with a clear way of managing the banks, the lending institutions. Of course, you need to, for example, not to try as much as possible to operate a few bank accounts, maybe only one with for local currency, another one for maybe the dollar account. That should be enough for you to run for your business. Otherwise, if you have got multiple accounts, then you find that you're likely to incur much cost when it comes to bank charges. So it's important that you do that. And before you also raise on a given bank, try to compare different bank rates and then try to compare their services. You've got some banks that have got very good privileges. Of course, it's easier for them to allow you to maybe to have some credit as opposed to others. So it's important that you also take that into consideration. Like, for example, if you compare equity and a bank like, for example, these other Stanbic, okay, of course, ABSA, you find that the operation of those two banks are totally different. You find that for equity, it's a bank whereby you can easily walk in with, for example, an LPO, and you get a financing maybe within a very short period of time. But for these other banks, of course, they'll give you the money, but it will take a whole process before they can be able to process your request. So you need to think about that for your business, and then settle on a bank that you feel that will really give you the required service that you need for your financial float. So it's important that you do what you call take control of your debt management, and then, of course, to ensure that all your debts are well paid. If they have got overdrafts, they are also well paid, to ensure that you don't really get into trouble with the banking or financial institutions. So therefore, it's important that when you're making this decision, that you mainly look at the two options. So we have got the grants option and the debts option. So, of course, you need to sit down and then think with your team and decide which approach are you going to use. Yeah, so of course, once you have done that, then you can always evaluate each and every source of funding and then against the needs that you have actually identified. For example, if you really want to create a proof of concept for a startup, then it's not advisable for you to go for example, for a bank loan. But you can simply maybe go for preceding funding, maybe for grants, you can go for competition, you can go for crowdfunders and all that, okay? Yeah, while if it's at the growth stage or you really want to boost your operation, then that's the point whereby you can start now thinking about going for debts, that is for bank loans and all that, because you know very well that once you, for example, you start producing your products, you can always make sales and then be able to repay back the bank loan. So that should be the approach that you need to look at. So before you decide on which approach you're going to do, then it's important that you check, you do a cross checking or self validation to know exactly what are your needs. Look at the available funding structure that is there, and then you need to ask yourself, should you go for the equity or should you go for debt? And then for each one, try to look at the impact or the risk assessment for each. What is it that it means if you get, for example, a bank loan, just to do what? To test your product. Because in case your product fails, what will you do? You've already taken a bank loan. Okay? So you need to think about that. So you find that it's advisable that you consider each and every option depending on the state of your business. So if it's still at you need some cash flow issues short term, then you can go for bank loans and bank overdrafts. If, for example, it's something that deals with procurement, because at times you can supply your goods and then you are not sure when the goods will be paid. So you can go for invoice financing. If you also want to get, for example, to start a business, and then if you want to get from debt, then you can go for startup loans. If they are there, if the banks are offering that one, then you can go there. And if you really want to just acquire an object, a plant, you want to acquire a capital asset for your business, then you can go for asset financing. So all those are options. You are for financial, those are debt options. But you also have to go for the other way. Of course, you can go for venture capitalist if you want to grow your plans. If you need somebody to mentor you and hold you, can go for angel investment. Of course, yeah, you can. If you really want to get other partners, people can be able to come and invest into your business. Then you can go for private equity or expansion capital. So all those availables are there. So you need to think about all this, and then based on this, then you can make a decision now. On which funding machine you can be able to approach. So once that decision is made, then you find that it gives you now a go ahead to go and do your pitch. So once you have identified your grant, then you need to prepare yourself now for the pitch for that specific investor that you've identified. So a pitch should be something that should be able to describe what you are really doing, what is your vision, what you want to achieve, the kind of problem that you're addressing, of course, the value positions for your products, and of course, the size of the market, and of course, the confidence that you have got the right team to ensure that you can be able to deliver the business. So of course, those are the most key things that you need to illustrate to your to the investor, and we talked about 8 of them. So of course, we need to have a presentation for you to help support you to do that. So you need to you prepare the presentation and then you look for an opportunity to do the pitching. So and I think we've looked at the key elements of the pitch. I said 8 them. So in the investors, every investor, remember, we always want to look at those 8 items. So the team, the problem vision, value proposition, the product, market, business model, scale, and the exit strategy. So they'll always be, those are the areas that they'll always be keen at. So for any pitching that you're trying to prepare, always ensure that you answer all, your pitch touches on all those aspects of questions. So when you are doing the pitch, of course, you must also start with a strong hook, of course, about, you can start with a story about a case of a problem, or how you came up to identify a problem, or how you, of course, you got ignited on to start thinking about the business, and of course, how you realized that there was an opportunity for you, which is that you thought about it and then came up with that big idea that you're thinking about. So, of course, you need to explain your ideas in terms of business opportunity. That is, of course, looking at the key target markets, look at their gains and their pains, and of course, try to translate them into a need that you are trying to address with your products and services. So you need to make it simple when you're doing explanation. Don't make it very complex. So just let the problem come out simply. Let the opportunity come out simply. And then, of course, you can also describe now your business model, how you intend to engage these specific target markets, clients. Of course, that should be very, very clearly. And use simple terms. Don't get into a lot of jargon so that you leave them getting confused. So just use the basic language that they can be able to understand. So describe your current status, the progress that you made so far, and outline your future plans. What do you want to do? Because the way we were discussing the other time about the capital need, show where you are currently, what you are doing, and show your projections, what you want to do in the next 3 years. And of course, that one can be able to explain now your capital needs, how much money you need for you to be able to achieve that. And then, of course, ask for the money, and then thank them for giving you some time. Then you can always then start answering the questions, and then be able to answer the questions, and then be able to start to attract the intentions. So of course, it's usually up to the investors to make the final decision whether they're going to grant you the offer that you've requested, the offer for funding that you've requested. So if in case they accept your request, then you can then get into a situation whereby you can start negotiating with them the terms. Some of them will allow you to negotiate. Some of them will ask you to agree to their terms. So depending on the approach that you're using, then you can always take the right decision to act upon that. Then once that is done, of course, you can finalize the investment deal by simply signing a contract. And then, of course, you implement your growth plan. So that's basically how one can be able to work towards investment. So, of course,
Two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Yeah, so basically, just to sum up what you've been discussing today, that for you to become investor readiness, you find that there are some things that you need to do as a startup. So one is that you must have a business plan. And for you to come up with a business plan, of course, you must have a team. So you need to build your team, create your business plan, focus on numbers, on how you're going to, of course, reach out to the market, know your audience, of course, ensure that you've got legal structures put in place, define your governance structure, create your value proposition, of course, focus on the deal, and then refine your execution plan. So I think those are the main key points that you need to really focus on as a startup when you're starting on your business. So I think with that, of course, it's not the end of this session. So maybe I'll ask if any one of you has got any question, then can be able to raise it now. Or any thought about it. Yeah, so why we have reached in this slide, you find that this will therefore give us a basis of our next phase of acceleration program. So of course, we'll be focusing on the first 7 points of that illustration that's there on the screen. So number 1, the team, business plan, of course, the go-to-market strategy, of course, understanding potential investors, putting up legal structures for your business, defining your governance structure, and then creating value proposition for both. So in this case, the value proposition that you're getting at this point for investor readiness is to the investors. What is that investors want? How do you ensure that you really capture the needs for investors? Yeah, so anybody who want to give a comment, please feel free to do so. Hello, are you still there? Hi, C Naturals. I can see you joined us a bit late. Hi, Carlin. Yeah,
Hi, Charles.
Yes, how are you?
I joined late, but I think I'm fine. I've just picked 0.01%.
Okay, so
I'm
how is
in
it?
the middle of activity.
Okay. So how is the trade fair?
It's okay, but not with so much traffic.
Okay.
It doesn't have so much traffic, but it's good. Yeah.
Okay, but today is big Friday. I'm sure
I think
maybe
I'll look for this.
Okay, sawa. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think I'll
thank
look
you.
for you for a makeup class.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Please do so. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, sawa. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, thank you. So anybody else? Hi for Christine. Hi, Christine. So okay, sawa. So hello.
Yeah, I'm getting you. We are getting you.
Okay, sorry. So anybody would want to add a few comments? Yeah, so if there's no comment, then it's always good to get also feedback about the session. How was the session? Maybe anybody can tell us about the session. Hi, Christine. Okay, so Christine says that she's on transit, so she's not able to respond. But it's also on the road. Hi, Penina.
Charles, thank you very much.
Yes.
The session was okay. It has given us an overview. For me, it has gotten me out of the life leisure kind of entrepreneur. I've known that it's not about what you have and what you're going to have tomorrow. It's about going down, making your books so that you're ready for the investor. Yes.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's about doing a very scientific research
Yes.
about it. Yeah. So it's not just about an issue of just waking up in a day and then saying I need 2 million or 3 million. Or you must always have a plan before you start looking for funds.
Yes. Must be strategic.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if there's no more question, then we will just consider ending there. But just maybe to do a recap, the most important that you need to think about when it comes to investor readiness. Of course, we mentioned about those 5 points. You need to reflect and think, where do you want your business to be 3 or 6 months from now? It's important that you start thinking that in those lines, just as yeah, let's share with us. Then you need to think about what's your commitment in terms of resources and time to achieve this goal. Do you really have all the resources that you need? Okay, so that you can be able to go to the next level. How do you like to be assessed to the next level? So it's important that you start thinking about that. Okay. Of course, now at this point here, we want you to start thinking about your business. Okay. Yeah. So you are the best doctor for yourself, being an entrepreneur. A mentor or a coach will only come in at the point where you feel that you need somebody to support you. So it's important that you start thinking about that. We shall be sending you a questionnaire so that you can be able to reflect on that. So of course, these areas for you to check is about, of course, the market landscape. Of course, looking at your product solution fit, and product solution fit, product market fit, and the business model fit. So you need to look at all those 3 areas of your business, and of course, be able to understand exactly the business you're trying to get in, and then be able to look at the risks that are involved. You also need to think about your business model. How do you tend to organize your business so that you can be able to achieve your goals and objectives? What are your business goals and objectives, and how can you organize your business to be able to achieve those goals and objectives? Then you need to think about your team. Of course, as a startup, of course, you need to think about what are the key personnel within your team, and what are their roles, and what are the core functions that this team should be performing to ensure that at least your company really grows. And then, of course, you also need to keep traction of your business so that you can be able to prove that your business has got a positive trend in terms of financials and operational indicators. So, like, you need to maintain the record daily or weekly cash flow statement so that you can be able to show that and at least your business is healthy and just potential for growth. And then, of course, with that in mind, we also need to have what you call the growth strategy, or showing where you want to be, of course, how you intend to reach your goals within 3 or 4 years' time. So you need to show exactly should be data driven, show the numbers. How many clients do you intend to reach within a year? Okay. how do you need to scale them up within 2 years to 3 years and all that. So you need to have some figures or some data in terms of that. And then as you try to project your growth, then of course you also need to show now the need. What will you require for you to grow? Okay. So you need to define your capital requirements, outline investor teas and the memorandum. So show how much money you need for you to so that you can go to execute the growth that you have actually projected in the growth strategy. So all those need to be well articulated in your investment ready plans. Then talk about governance structure, how your organization is governed, and talk about, of course, what will be your final impacts that you're trying to address or to generate with your business objectives. So you need to look at that, and then of course try to show your exit strategy. So that makes the end of today's session. Of course, one thing that we also learned is about the benefits of the business investment readiness to a business. It helps you to understand better yourself, to know exactly where you are, what are your capital needs. Now you can be able to access those capitals that are available. It also helps you to engage better with investors in a better way, so that they can be able to have a better matching, as well as a better investment relationship. Because if there's a mismatch between the investor and you as a startup, of course, you find that you will always have problems. What's happening today is that, of course, this course is very important because what's happening today is that there's a big mismatch between the investors and startups. There's what the investors are looking for, and there's what startups are presenting. You find the two of them don't match as much in most cases. And you find that when that occurs, you find that both the investors and the startups, they get frustrated because they're not able to move from point A to point B, or they're not able to seal up a deal and then be able to progress. So you find that this approach of investment, investor readiness is very, very important for your business. And basically through this Miliki Acceleration program, which are mainly focused on that, even before you be going for the pitching, we shall give you some coachings about how to prepare your pitch, how to align your business plans, so that they are basically fit for the pitching exercise. So then finally, investment readiness in itself can really help you to accelerate your business growth through access to capital, the required capital, so that you can go to grow your business. So otherwise, that's the end of today's session. So what we'll be doing from this point is that we shall send you a questionnaire that you'll be able to try to show us your current position, what are your needs, and then based on that questionnaire, we are going to assign you a personalized mentor who can be able to grow with you, so that you can be able to at least he or she can be able to understand your business and at the same time be able to support you to grow. Okay, as he or she guides you to prepare your pitch and to prepare your investor readiness documents. So I think that marks the end of today. I wish you a nice day and have a nice weekend. Otherwise, if there's no comment, there's no question, then I will end this today's session here so that I can be able to go and do other things. So if there is no question, then have a good weekend. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. I hope we will have the recording.